Hey YouTube, how are we doing? Sorry there's not been a video in a while. I've been extremely busy, and on top of that, my videographer's been busy, so I've gone and had to find a new videographer who can be with me more of the time, so hopefully we can get these videos out for you guys a bit more frequently. And I thought, what better way to do that than to set up a question and answer series? So I posted this up on Snapchat a few hours ago. What's happening, Snapchat? I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a YouTube video. That's gonna change. I have an idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a business and entrepreneurial Q&A. But here's the catch. You can only ask the questions through Snapchat. It's not on Twitter, not on Instagram, not anywhere else. You have to be on Snapchat. Go ahead guys, start sending me your questions on Snapchat. I'm going to screenshot them. I'm going to make a YouTube video answering your question. I'm going to embed your question on the screen. And guys, there's no question too simple. Ask whatever you want. As basic as it is, if it needs covered, I'll cover it. Get snapping, people. Snap. So that went out a few hours ago on Snapchat, and the questions have been coming in. I've picked 3 questions for this episode. If you want your question answering, Snapchat it to me. Yeah, this is my Snap code. Pause the video here, screenshot it, upload it onto Snapchat, and add me. Ask me questions there. I'll screenshot the question you ask, and I'll include it in the next video. Okay? So let's get started, guys. Let's get on to the first video. Question number 1. Bit of a boring snap. Come on, guys. Use some emojis, use some stickers. Come on, get a bit creative here. I want to see some filters from wherever you are in the world. Include your filters. Don't just give me a color background. How can I attract the right talent to join my startup? Great question, and a very important question. As we all know, the most difficult thing to do within a business is attracting the right talent. It's super difficult, guys. And the way you attract the right talent is to make sure your proposition is good enough. Make sure you have a working environment that will attract that talent, okay? Make sure it's comfortable, make sure it's focused, make sure it's competitive at the same time, but make sure, more important than all of that, that the people you look to recruit understand the vision you have for the company. If you can help them buy into the vision that you have for the company, you attract that talent. It's a misconception that people are just looking for the money. Okay, new recruits aren't just looking for the highest pay packet. They want to belong to something bigger, a vision, a dream. Help them to see that, and then they will join you. That's just how it works. And the other angle to that is when they understand the vision, they're far more inclined to give you that extra 10, 20% that you need on a day-to-day basis. So in terms of practical tips to help you find the right talent, there's so many ways you can go about this, guys. I mean, one way I like, which is proving very good, is Twitter. Use Twitter search. Search your location followed by the job you require. For example, London, web designer. You'll find loads of people looking for jobs. Or even if they're not looking for jobs, maybe they're posting their work on Twitter. Tap them up, tweet them, send them a direct message saying, hey, love your work. How would you fancy working with me on this project? Boom, done. Attract that talent. Start them off with small projects, and soon you can bring them in-house. There's no need to have a web designer, for example, in-house from the get-go. If you're a small startup business, just hire freelancers. As and when you build relationships with these freelancers and you're comfortable in the work they're doing, and more importantly, they start to grow with your business and understand your business, that's when you can then offer them a full-time role when you're ready. Okay? So that's how I do it, guys. That's the way to attract talent. Use Twitter, use Facebook. Of course, you can use, recruitment agents as well. That works. But what I find works best is to use freelancers, search for freelancers, and once you've built that relationship, then bring them in full time. Oh, and thank you to Franks91 on Snapchat for that question. Appreciate it. Let's move on to the next one. Right, next question. My idea is fire. That's my emoji. But I don't know how to get funding. Okay, very important question. So you've got this idea, you think it's going to be the next big thing, you want to run it as a business, but how do you get funding? And look, a lot of youngsters and young entrepreneurs are getting the wrong impression of this nowadays. I mean, unfortunately, anybody with an app idea now can go and raise £1 million in seed investment from a VC. It's just the kind of environment we're in today. But the way I'm going to show you how to do this and the way I would do it is from a very old school entrepreneur approach, and that's just how I like to do business. So this is what I do. Let's play this out as a scenario. So you're stuck in a full-time job, right? And you get this amazing business idea come to your head. And you're like, this is going to be the one. This is the one. Okay? What I would do, the first thing I would do is I'd take that business idea and I'd make sure it's viable. I'd do all my research to make sure it's viable. I'd then calculate, you're not deciding, I'd calculate exactly what it would cost me to get this product to a minimum viable product and to do some basic marketing on it to see whether we get any traction. That's your pain cost. Calculate that cost. Let's call it the pain cost. Okay? Calculate your pain cost and then carry on working and saving until you get that amount accumulating in your bank account. Once you've done that, or as and when it's saving, start to produce the product. Do the research, get it to its minimum viable product. Actually, I've done a video on what to do when you have a startup ideas and what are the next steps to take. So I'm going to link those up here. Be sure to go and check that out. But yeah, that's what I do in terms of raising funding. I'd bootstrap. And as you get the business, get some traction and it's building and it's starting to get some legs and you're like, okay, this business has definitely got legs. Then you may want some investment to ramp it up and move it faster. But don't just start out thinking you need funding. Okay, get it to a point where it's got a proven track record, you've proven the model, and then you only want money to ramp it up, to move things faster. Money isn't going to make your business successful, it can only speed it up in my opinion, okay? So that's the way I tackle it. If you're a startup, make sure you work out your pain cost to get your product to a minimum viable product, and then to launch to see if you've got any traction behind that. And then once you've got to that point, yes, you can go seek funding, look for VCs, look for people who do invest actively and go pitch your idea to them. But until that point, bootstrap. Save the money, earn the money, and only spend what the business earns until it takes care of itself. And thanks to Josh for that snap, appreciate it. Right guys, 2 questions done. Let's move on to the third one and the last one for this episode. Right, yo Ijaz, how long should I keep going with my startup before I quit my losses? 16 degrees, not too bad. You didn't tell me where you were though, so I don't know where in the world you are, but wherever you are, the temperature looks okay, 16 degrees. Okay, so when to quit your losses? Now, it's another very good question. As you may have heard before, it's not the wisest thing to do to just never quit. More importantly, it's to know when to quit. Okay, and so this question is very good in that when is it the right time? How do I know that my business is not sustainable? And the one thing I'd say here is, as an entrepreneur, you get a gut feeling. And it's hard to explain, but you kind of know when your business isn't working. You're giving it your all, you're pushing it from various different avenues, but just there's no traction. Either there's no customers through the door, or nobody's visiting your website. It's just not working. But guys, don't tell me it's not working after 4 months. If you put in work for 12, 18, 24, 36 months, then yeah, now you can be thinking about, okay, maybe this is not working. But if you've just been doing it for the last 6 months and you think, oh wow, nobody's taking my business seriously, you're quitting too early. That's the person that's quitting too early. But if you're putting it for years and years and it's not working, then yeah, that's when you need to consider, is it time for me to quit my losses? And the point at which I'd be looking to do that is when you feel like you've exhausted every single avenue. If you feel like you've exhausted every single avenue, you've put in every minute of every single day into this business, and yet you're still losing or leaking money, that's when it's time to pack up, okay? And now, unfortunately, a lot of people then think that's the right time to go and seek investment. That's the wrong time to seek investment. Nobody's going to invest in your business if you've been unable to get the business model right. It's your business. You're the brainchild. You're the founder of that business, okay? So if you can't get it working and get the model right, no silent investor is going to come in and turn your business successful just because he's got a wad of cash. It doesn't work like that. Alternatively, what you could do at that point is admit, maybe I don't have the skills or talent to actually run this business, but I still think it's a great idea. It'd be great if I could bring some strategic, smart money into the game with me to help me take this to the next level. But if you can't do that, you've exhausted every single avenue, you've tried looking for smart investment, then it's that point where you need to look at yourself and say, is this business model really viable? am I going to make it work? And then make that decision. But it's not an easy decision to make. You would have started that business from scratch. But at the end of the day, like I said in one of my quotes, it's better to chase profitability rather than being a busy fool. Don't worry about the image that your friends and family think, oh, this guy's got a successful business, and you have to maintain that image. If it's not working for you, pack it in. Go get a job, save some money until your next business idea comes into play, okay? So dismiss your ego at that point and really do what's right for business. Again, great question. Thank you for sharing. Right, guys, one more bonus question. Bonus! And this one's coming from AJ. AJ says, how to expand a business that's only based in one country at the moment? Again, what's it with these boring snaps, guys? Get creative. Gosh. Right, so I'm not sure what entirely this question is aiming at. Is it saying, how do I expand a business that's actually in one country and I want to stay in one country? Or how do I expand my business into different territories? So I'll tackle both. Obviously, if your business is in one country and no other countries and you're looking to expand it, that's a massive question, and there's so many different ways you need to expand that. You need to make sure you've got the clients, you need to make sure you're servicing those clients, and you need to make sure you're growing organically. That's a big topic, like saying, how do I run my business? I can't answer that in one quick question off Snapchat. 2, so this is what I think the question was referring to, is how do you expand your business into other territories? And this is a poignant question because I'm actually looking at expanding my digital signage business, Mobius Tech, into the UAE market. We've done a launch there, and so the key thing I would say to do whenever you're looking to move into a new territory is to see whether the appetite is there in that country. At the least possible cost to you, try to find out whether that appetite is there. And there's various ways you could do this, guys. You can set up social media pages and target those people in those demographics to see what's the engagement like. You can do exhibitions locally in that area to see whether there's footfall, whether people are interested in your product. Do they, for example, with mine, the digital signage products, I'm looking at the biggest digital signage shows in the UAE market, and then I'm making sure that I'm visible in those areas to see whether there's attention there for the product. If I feel there is attention, then of course I'm going to invest more money into the area, open a head office, recruit local talent, etc., etc. But that's the way I do it. I'd make sure I'd think clearly about my business and my offering, and try to see whether that new territory or country has demand for my product and service. Don't just do it for ego because you want offices around the country. If there's enough, and this just comes on to another detour point here, don't move to other territories unless you've really saturated your current market. If, for example, like I am based in London, and there's a lot of opportunity in London and the UK surrounding areas, why would I be silly to go to China, for argument's sake, to launch my business there, where I'd have to learn a new culture, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing business? If there's opportunity still in the UK, make sure you cover all that opportunity and learn from your mistakes in this one territory. And once you've perfected that and saturated it, then move on to the next territory. So don't try to run before you can walk. Take each territory at a time, build a really stable business, prove it works, find out if other territories have those same problems, which you have the solution to, and then expand organically. Don't force it, it'll come. Right, so thank you for that question, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first Snapchat Q&A. If you have a question which you feel needs answering, head over to my Snapchat. Again, the snap code's here, or the username's Ijaz Awan. Snap me up with the question, and I'll try to include it in the next show. If you have any comments, please don't forget to drop them below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be aiming to get out these Snapchat Q&As far more frequently, so please make sure you turn on the notifications so you don't miss a single video. Take care.